business and figure out how to actually make it work.
We're talking building a business that lasts, and for that, you need a game plan.
And that's what we're diving into today with how to overcome challenges in your online business journey. Think of this as your cheat sheet for not just surviving, but actually thriving as an entrepreneur.
It's like having a roadmap in a world that sometimes feels like it changes every 5 minutes.
Right. And the source jumps right into one of the biggest pain points for online businesses: tech troubles. I swear, nothing makes you question your life choices like a website crash at the worst possible moment.
Oh, tell me about it. And that's exactly why the source is so big on having solid IT support right from the get-go. It's not just an expense, it's an investment in your peace of mind.
So true. Because when your website's down, you're not just losing time, you're losing potential customers and sales.
Exactly. And it's not just about fixing things when they break. It's also about being proactive with things like cybersecurity, which the source compares to preventative care for your business.
And that makes total sense, right? Because one data breach can completely destroy the trust you've worked so hard to build with your customers.
It's like they always say, prevention is better than cure.
100%.
Mm.
Okay, so we've dodged the tech landmines. Now let's talk about another biggie in the online world: cutting through the noise,
Yes. The source calls it shouting in a sea of voices.
which I think is the perfect analogy. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're creating amazing things, but it's almost impossible to get people to notice you amidst all the chaos online.
It's a common struggle for sure. And that's why the source is so passionate about nailing down your unique value proposition. It's about figuring out what makes your business stand out from the crowd.
So it's not enough to just offer great products or services. You have to figure out how to tell your story in a way that really grabs people's attention.
Exactly. What makes you different? What's the story behind your brand? What do you want people to feel when they interact with your business? Those are the things that really resonate with customers these days.
It's about making a connection, not just making a sale.
100%. And the source actually uses a really great example to illustrate this point. Let's say you sell handmade jewelry.
Okay, I'm listening.
So instead of just listing the materials and the price, you could talk about what inspired you to start creating jewelry in the first place.
I love that.
Maybe you use ethically sourced materials or have a portion of your profits go to a cause you care about.
Right, so it's about tapping into that deeper meaning and sharing it with the world.
Exactly. And that's how you create a brand story that people can really connect with.
So we've got our story straight, but what about actually getting people to buy what we're selling? That feels like the million-dollar question, right?
You're telling me. And the source doesn't sugarcoat it either. They call customers the lifeblood of any business, and they're not wrong.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not just about getting people in the door once.
It's about turning those one-time buyers into loyal fans, and honestly, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm all in on interesting, especially when it comes to turning browsers into buyers. What's the secret?
Well, one of the big things the source talks about is personalized marketing.
Personalized marketing. I have to admit that always sounds a little bit Big Brother to me.
I get it, especially with all the targeted ads we see online these days. But when it's done right, personalized marketing can actually be a really good thing for both businesses and customers.
Okay, I'm listening. Convince me.
So imagine this. You're running an online store, and you've got a customer who just bought a pair of hiking boots from you. With personalized marketing, you could send them targeted emails about, let's say, new hiking socks, or maybe a sale on trekking poles, stuff they're actually interested in based on their past purchases.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not about being creepy. It's about being helpful and relevant.
Exactly. And the source actually gives a ton of practical tips on how to actually implement this kind of personalized approach, like segmenting your email list based on past purchases, offering tailored recommendations.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm big on making things easier for people. But speaking of making things easier, the source also dives into the wonderful world of finances, right?
Yeah, they really stress the importance of establishing good financial habits from day one, which, let's face it, isn't always the most exciting part of starting a business.
Ugh, tell me about it. Budgeting and spreadsheets are not my zone of genius.
No, but they are essential. The source actually suggests thinking of your accounting software not as a chore, but as a decision-making tool.
Okay, I can get behind that. Knowledge is power and all that.
Right. Like, instead of just seeing numbers on a screen, you can use those numbers to track your progress, identify areas where you can cut costs, see what's actually making you money. It's pretty eye-opening when you really get into it.
So it's like having a financial GPS for your business,
Hmm.
guiding you towards smarter decisions and hopefully bigger profits.
Exactly. And the best part is a lot of these online accounting tools can automate so much of the tedious stuff for you, like invoicing, expense tracking, even generating those financial reports we all love to hate.
Music to my ears. Anything that saves me from spreadsheet hell is a win in my book. But on that note, the source also reminds us that the online world waits for no one, right?
Seriously, it's like the Wild West out there, constantly changing and evolving.
Which is exciting, but also a little bit terrifying. How do we even keep up with all the latest trends in tech without getting completely overwhelmed?
Right, it can feel like you're constantly playing catch up, but the source stresses that it's not about chasing every shiny object. It's about being strategic and focusing on continuous learning.
So instead of jumping on every trend bandwagon that comes along, we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, okay, what skills or knowledge do I actually need to move my business forward?
Exactly. And then seek out resources that can help you fill those gaps, whether that's online courses, webinars, industry events, even just connecting with mentors or experts in your field. It's a marathon, not a
Right.
sprint, right? And that's where the source's advice on building resilience really hit home for me because let's be real, you're going to hit roadblocks in the online business world. Things are going to go wrong. The question is, how are you going to handle it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because, yeah, it's easy to say, be more resilient,
Mm.
but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, the source give this really cool example. Imagine you're launching a new product, right? You've poured your heart and soul into it, and then crickets. Sales are flatlining.
Ugh, I can feel the stress already.
Right. So instead of spiraling, the source says, take a step back. Analyze the situation. Did you miss the mark on your target audience? Was your messaging clear? Maybe you need to tweak your marketing strategy or get some feedback from your ideal customers.
So it's about turning those oh crap moments into opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. And, this is where having a solid support system can make all the difference. Because it's easy to feel isolated as an online entrepreneur, but you're not alone.
That's so true. I mean, we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive, right? From tech troubles and standing out online to finding customers and managing money. And it can feel like a lot, especially when you're in the trenches.
Totally. But remember, there are tons of other entrepreneurs out there who face those same challenges and overcome them. And that's why the source is so big on building a community and seeking out mentors.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Where do we find these mythical supportive entrepreneurs?
Well, it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as joining a Facebook group or an online forum for entrepreneurs in your niche.
Right. Or attending local networking events, reaching out to people you admire for a virtual coffee chat, even just striking up conversations online.
Yes. The key is to just put yourself out there, build relationships, and remember that you don't have to do this alone. And, the source leaves us with this really interesting question, and I want to throw it out to you all listening. How can we, as online entrepreneurs, embrace challenges, not just to survive, but to thrive in this ever-changing digital landscape? It's something to really ponder.
I love that because at the end of the day, it's not just about keeping your head above water. It's about riding those waves and using those challenges to propel you forward.
Couldn't agree more.
So to everyone out there building their online empires, remember, you've got this. This deep dive has given you a roadmap, actionable insights, and hopefully a renewed sense of resilience. Now go out there, make it happen, and most importantly, have fun along the way. See you next time.